Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to TechGeek webinar series, our endeavor to impart techies. We believe that sharing of knowledge is the key to enhance our skills and grow us as professionals. With this principle in mind, we have initiated a series of webinars conducted by industry experts to give you all a crisp insight of various domains. The topic of today's session is Moving Towards a Social Business: Facts, Myths, and Steps for Becoming a Successful Social Entity. Our guest speaker today is Mr. Subhamoy Chakravarti, General Manager IT at NBFC. Subhamoy is a technology enthusiast with 10 years of experience in IT business, having worked both on buy side and sell side. Currently, he is working as the General Manager IT at a leading NBFC, handling strategic technology initiatives. He has also worked with Oracle IDC for Oracle Apps product development early in his career. Subhamoy has worked extensively on various areas of mobility. He has worked with the major Tier 1 OEMs across the globe in delivering their full phone programs. Currently, he has been managing the enterprise mobility initiatives and taking various initiatives to mobile enable the organization. Subhamoy was identified as one of the top 100 IT leaders in India by the IT Next magazine in 2012. So without further delay, I introduce you all to our guest speaker. Over to you, Mr. Chakravarti.
Thank you very much for the brief introduction. So, what I will do is I will show my screen. Start with. Can you see my screen when I am projecting the PPT?
Screen is visible.
Okay, thanks. So today's topic, we decided that we'll talk about social media, social business, and how we make it a successful business model altogether. Before that, I think you got a brief introduction about myself. I have got around 10 years of experience, and I have mostly worked on the mobility side. And as was introduced, I have worked both on the sales side and buy side, which gives some unique experience. Seeing business from both ends, like you are on both sides of the table of the association and you know how the other guys deal. So that has both benefits and pitfalls. But today's discussion is not related to that. Today's discussion is related to social business. This is something that we see almost every day. We are using every minute. I believe that this discussion will be very close to your heart, and there will be many questions that will come to you, or you want to participate actively. So feel free to post the questions. We will try to pick up as much as possible during the discussion itself. And at the end of it, we will pick up some of the questions and try to answer them. Now, on the topic, so it's, it's a given now that social media is going to be here. But the discussion topic we have chosen is how to use that social media in making a business success. And what are the facts, what are the myths behind social business, and what are the steps to make it a successful social business. To make it a little bit interesting, what we'll do is we'll also show you some of the snippets from Facebook and Twitter possibly, that how the thing works together in technical terms, and also we'll talk about some case studies. So I will be covering mostly 6 major areas. First, we'll talk about the facts about social media. Then we'll talk about the myths around social media, what people think about it, and some of them might not be true. Then we'll show some graph theory, like how to analyze your Facebook and Twitter network. Next, we'll move into some success stories, how different entities, organizations are using social media and seeing some return on investment, which is what matters finally. Next point will be the steps towards making such a success story out of your organization or out of your client's organization. And last but not least, what are the skills that you should acquire to be a successful social developer or a social entrepreneur.
Subhamoy, I just wanted to interrupt. Your voice is not very clear. There's some issue with your voice.
Okay.
Not clear. Can you please check once?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's better now.
Okay. Um, is it better now? Can I continue this way?
Yeah, you can continue this way. I guess you're on the headset now.
Right.
Yeah, you can continue this way. I guess this is better.
Okay. Okay. So we will start with the if what we can do is we'll just recap on the agenda part because some of you might not have been able to listen to the first slide. What we said that we'll cover these few items. We will start with the facts of the social media. Then we will talk about the myths around social business. Then we will analyze some Facebook and Twitter graph networks, how it works. We will take up few success stories, case studies from real life, how social media has been used to enhance the return on investment, that is ROI. We will talk about certain steps in terms of business strategies. And then we will talk about skills, which will help you to become a good, successful social developer in the days to come, or a social entrepreneur, we can say. So we'll start with the facts. I mean, all of you know that social media is big, huge. It can't get bigger than this. But how big is that? I mean, is there any quantification behind that? You might be already knowing some of this data, but there is no harm in repeating. The first point is related to index pages on open web. Open web is what we see on Google or Bing. I mean, whatever is searchable. And there are 14.3 billion pages on open web currently. That's probably getting, I mean, it's exponentially increasing, and that's really huge, huge. Second point is Facebook. Facebook has total number of active users as estimated by their reported numbers is 1.1 billion. Now, what is active user? Active user is someone who has gone there and made a post or made a comment or made some transaction at least once in last 1 month, and that number is 1.1 billion. Twitter has over 400 million accounts. Now Twitter doesn't publish how many of them are active or how many are inactive, but 400 million is the total count. Google Plus has active users of 390 million. LinkedIn, I mean, many of you might be having a profile on LinkedIn for professional purpose, so that also has 220 million users. These numbers probably has been taken in 2013 itself, so they might be more or less correct, or 2 to 3% here and there. YouTube is supposedly the second largest search engine now, people say, because it has 1 billion active users, and there is huge amount of uploads that happen almost every day. And it is measured that social media has become the #1 activity on the web. So as a user, I mean, you can think back that whenever you open your laptop or whenever you open your tablet or any device, how much time do you spend looking at Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or some such sites? And how much time do you not spend on those sites? So based on that, you will get a percentage, like, are you spending 80% of your time on social media or 70%? And it's statistically found out that social media has become the #1 activity on the web. So the conclusion of this slide, if we can try to draw, that it's something which you can't ignore. It has gone to such a large extent with Facebook, Twitter, Google, LinkedIn, that it's something you need to handle now correctly. You can't ignore it altogether. We are not going to say that Facebook is good or Twitter is bad. We will not get into that, but we need to look at it as a concept. Now, once we see the facts, let's look at also the myths around social media. I mean, probably anyone who is a regular user to Facebook or Twitter or Google Plus might have a feeling that these are all tools of interaction or conversation only, and for chats for the youngsters. So there can be a feeling that, okay, this is the Yahoo groups that you used to have earlier, or this is the Yahoo chat room that we used to have some time back. but that is probably not true. So we'll look at that. What are the myths around that? So first of all, people may think that, okay, employees may chat all the day. That is a possibility, but we need to look at how do we take care of that in a corporate scenario. Second is keeping confidential information within organization. So for example, suppose you or your organization plan to build a social media strategy, and you enable certain set of users that, okay, these are the users who will go out and have access to publish some post on Facebook or Twitter. The risk is those guys may be privy to some information which is critical to your business, and they may post those data in Facebook itself. So can that happen? Yes, that can happen. But is it not happening today? I mean, even if it's not in Facebook, probably people are already talking about while having a chat or while having just a friendly session with other guys. So what we need to see is how to take care of that, how to strategize behind that, how to keep the confidential information within the boundary, and how the hierarchy works, what is the workflow. The third point is how an organization knows that what the customers are talking about. Now this is a major roadblocker for many of the organizations, because people feel that, okay, I open a Facebook page and anybody or everybody can come to my page and say anything nonsense about me. So how do I take care of that? So the answer to that is, well, people are already talking nonsense about you anyway. People are talking bad things probably if you are not doing things too well. So it's only the thing that you get to know what they're talking about now. Otherwise, people are talking behind you. So you don't know what is the sentiment about your company in the public domain. So social media actually enables you to listen to what your customers are talking about you. What is the sentiment? Suppose today I try to measure that you have a brand X. Are people happy about your brand, or are they sad about your brand? Are they feeling good about you? Are they feeling positive about you, or are they feeling negative about you? So these things can be measured. So I mean, if you open the door, then only you can get to know all these things. And the biggest concept behind any social media is it's all about conversation. See, it's not like that I open a Facebook page for my grocery shop or my some other company, and then I keep pushing all my products that, okay, I have got a new product in my store, please come and buy. I have got a new service in my company, please come and get that. It's not about that. It's about what customers are talking about. So you are making it a two-way communication instead of one way. I mean, if you look at the earlier public relations or communication mechanisms, it used to be one way. People used to publish a pamphlet and then stand in the railway station or on a public place and then distribute that. So that was one way of communicating. But now you need to listen what people are saying about you. So for that, you need to track that for, say, company X, what has people talked about in last 24 hours? Or you have launched a new product, so how people accepted that? Did people say good things about you, or did they say bad things about you? So all these things can be measured, and all these myths needs to be debunked if you need to be serious into the social media business. Next, we'll take some examples on Facebook and Twitter. Now, before getting into that, let me put a point here that there is a concept that, I mean, there is a misconception, I will say, that social media is all about graphics, good pictures, good contents, and probably some analytics. But it's not like that. It's a very good mix of art and science. I mean, this is one of the perfect places where a good graphics designer and a great computer scientist can sit together and come up with a beautiful strategy. So I have taken one specific example from graph theory. I mean, if some of you have not heard about graph theory, it's a very basic concept of computer science, where it tries to relate between different nodes and or different places, different people, and try to see what are the relations between them. So what people are saying, I mean, what scientists are looking at social media is, they are looking at the social media as a big graph. So you can actually look at all these networks as some concept of graph. I have put two graphs in this presentation, one on the left and one on the right. The left one represents my network on Facebook, for example, let's say, and the right one represents my network on Twitter. Let's take that as example. So if you look at the dot, the black dot in between on the left graph, so that's me. And I am connected to these people, like this, all these dots where I have a direct connection. Those are my friends. Again, there will be friends of friends. So I am connected to this guy, and he is connected to this guy. So he is my friend of friends, and he is again connected to this. Now, if you closely look at your friend network, you might see that there are different clusters. So suppose this is one cluster, this red one, and the left blue square is a different cluster. I would say that probably the red one are my friends from my office who are close to each other, they are connected to each other. And the left one are the guys who are from my school. So again, they are connected to each other. And I am probably the one link between these two networks. So that is one way of looking at Facebook. Now if I look at Twitter, so that is on the right side. Twitter is a little more complex, I would say. It has two ways. So I can follow one person and that person can follow me back. So it's a two-way. So here the dark circle is again me. If you look at the two circles where I have a double-edged arrow, that means I am following that guy as well as that guy is following me. So those are my friends as well as they are following me. Now if you look at the top left circle, that is a typical circle which is like a celebrity circle. So celebrity profile. So celebrity profiles, I mean, if you see a Barack Obama profile, there will be lots of people, millions of people who will be following him. But he'll be following very less people. So this is Barack Obama, take an example. And this is me, or this is you. So all these people which are adjacent to the top left circle on the right side. So these are all Barack Obama's followers in Twitter. Now, how does it help? So, I mean, look, okay, fine, I have a graph representation, but I mean, my question is, how does it help finally? Is it going to help me anyway? Is it going to help my strategy? The answer is yes. The answer is very much yes. So let's come back to the Facebook graph. Suppose the dark circle is me again. Now I make a post. Is the post going to be visible to all in Facebook, 1.1 billion users? No, it's not. So Facebook has certain algorithms and that keeps changing. I mean, those who are connected to Facebook engineering, so they might know that the Facebook algorithm for newsfeed has changed over the last 1 week. But if you have a basic concept that, okay, this is how it works, then you can delve deeper, and probably in some coming sessions we can get into more details on how this graph theory actually matches to the real life problems. There is an example of LinkedIn. So that is my second bullet. Then visit this inmaps.linkedinlabs.com for your LinkedIn graph. I will see whether I can show you that. That will probably give you some idea about how LinkedIn works. So now I am projecting my LinkedIn graph on the screen. So that's pretty complex, right? So here at the center of the graph, there is one label called Shubhama Chakraborty, which is me. Now all these nodes, if you see, there are multiple nodes around. So I have, I mean, thankfully I have quite a lot of connections in LinkedIn, probably 900 or so currently. All these are represented by these dots. If I take my mouse on some of those nodes, it will pop up and show that who is that guy. And those nodes are connected to each other. Now you see that there are different colors. So what these colors are all about. So these colors are the different blocks. So suppose the rightmost orange color may represent my work location, my work friends. So they are very close to each other. The left one on the top left, green, that might be something like, say, my school. Now there will be some common links, obviously. So when you develop your network in, say, LinkedIn or in Facebook, you can look at this graph and try to see how much connected you are into this typical network. So suppose you make a post and you want to reach certain groups. So you can see how much connected you are into that group and how does it going to help propagate that message to you, to that group. So it is more important when you get into a corporate setup where you are trying to reach to multiple people. So now that we have some idea, I am back to the slides from the page. We will get back to the flow. So we have some idea about the facts, we have some idea about the myths, we have some idea that it's not only arts, it's arts plus science. We'll get into some success stories. So first we'll talk about a hospital. This is Mayo Clinic Hospital, which is based out of USA. How is it using social media in making a great business? So there is a typical example. There is a dental specialist there who is of Indian origin. He has a concept that probably the patients who are coming to him might have some apprehension whether the doctor can understand their accent because the doctor is Indian. So what he did was he created an introductory video and he posted that in their Facebook. And he asked all the patients who are coming to Mayo Clinic for an appointment with his doctor that please look at this video, get familiarized, and see what are the questions the doctor can ask you. So the hypothesis is that the video will reduce the anxiety and it will increase the efficiency. And it actually happened that people started seeing a lot of, the doctor could identify that who has seen the video and who has not, because people are coming to the hospital with a knowledge that, okay, this is the doctor I'm going to meet and these are the questions he is going to ask, so let me be prepared. That can be a great idea even in India, even in our context, that when you want to visit a new doctor, you don't know how he looks like, you don't know how he behaves, but if you get to see a video that how he talks, how he is going to ask questions, then you are more prepared for that. So this is just one of the case studies from Mayo Clinic Hospital, but Mayo Clinic is actually one of the gold standards. So they have defined a school itself within Mayo Clinic, and they have an institute where they help other hospitals as well in USA and outside. They have social weeks and all. So they are public relation officer. What he does, he collects all the printed ads and then posts it in the Facebook, because the logic is there are a lot of people who are not reading the newspaper these days. Those people are directly looking at Facebook or Twitter for news. So why to miss out those audience? So that's why Mayo Clinic has done a wonderful job. The next example we will take from business to business. As you know that some of them operate on B2B basis, some of them operate on B2C basis. So Mayo Clinic is an example of B2C where a business is talking directly to a customer. Here we will take Intel, who is a chipset vendor, as you must be knowing, and Intel's customer is a Dell or Microsoft or Lenovo, people who use their chipset. So how social media is going to help Intel? Because Intel finally is not going to sell to you or me. Intel is going to sell to big corporates. So Intel was an interesting case study because Intel was one of the early adopters and they used social media platform to the hilt. So what they did was, their challenge was that they wanted, they have to remain innovative. So, they can't be that, okay, I have built a chipset and then I will keep selling that forever because there are a lot of competition. But how do they get that idea? So for that, they need to engage all the technical minds throughout the world. There is one way that you have discussion groups, probably in India, sometime in Bangalore, sometime in Dallas, sometime in Australia, all across the world. But that is hugely expensive. Like you need to arrange all these logistics. You need to get people here, and then you need to maintain that discussion thread in future. If somebody has made a suggestion, then that gets lost. There are geographical challenges. So then they decided that, okay, we will use media to create online communities where these online communities will be used for the customers, and these customers will be handling them. So they will let it free. Only thing is they will have certain experts who will facilitate or answer the questions. So they divided those experts into two categories, like brokers and floaters. They will have experts which are very focused on, say, in Intel there can be a specific area on heating or something like audio driver or something like that. So they will have an expert on that area, and he will go and answer the questions on that topic. And also there will be some floaters who will be like a guru of multiple areas, and they will be answering more on proactive manner, and they will go and look around for questions on certain topics. Intel claims that with this strategy, their visibility had gone like anything, and that helped Intel as a brand like anything. I mean, there are many chipset vendors in the world, but probably you might not be knowing more, many beyond Intel. Intel is one of the leaders, and they created that brand in this way. So moving from Mayo and Intel, now let's come to your business or your client's business. So suppose you want to build a social business around your client's organization. So how do you want to go by that? So there is an easy approach. Okay, I will open a Facebook page, and then I will monitor that daily. I will keep posting some content. I will see how many people are liking that. I will probably increase that like by some booster. I will do some other strategy so that millions of people start following. But if you go to the business community, if you go to people who actually spend money for IT, they don't want the follower list. I mean, finally, at the end of the month, they will try to find out, okay, I have spent this much of dollars, this much of INR. How much do I get back? So that is what people say, that return on investment. So what is the ROI of this social media stuff? So what all is going to work out? Now, what is missing in the current approach in many cases? I will not say that in most of the cases, but in many cases, what is missing is people are starting from the tactics. That is, they are starting from the tool. So they are starting from a Facebook page. They are starting from a Twitter account. They will open a YouTube account. They will start gathering followers. But those are all means to an end. Those are not the end itself. My aim is I need to get more business. So for that, when you go and meet your customer, you need to find out what is the strategy. I mean, what they want to achieve out of social business. Now, once you define that strategy, like, okay, I need to suppose some customer comes and says that, okay, I will invest X amount of dollars in social media, but my sales should increase by 15% in next 6 months. So now that's a target. So how do you measure that? So you have to start from there, that what is the target I am going to achieve in a predefined time frame. What is my organizational goal? Suppose organization may have certain goals. Some organization may have a goal of increasing the brand value, or organization can have a goal that I want to reach to a different segment, or organization can have a goal that, okay, I just need to spread my message to more people. So once you define that, so I got a question from Prasanto Paul. I will answer that. Let me just go through this slide, then I will come to that question. So once I define that basic strategy, that okay, I need to achieve this. So that it is step by step. First you define the goal of the organization. That may come from the CXOs or may come from the very FX level. Then you come to the strategy, and then you come to the tactics, like what are the tools you find out. So these tools can be multiple, like you can start with social tools where you define a Facebook page. Then you probably go for a web solution where you have a web page also. Then you start measuring how many people are coming to my web page. So what is the demographics? Like there are certain tools, some of the tools are freely available as well, which you can incorporate in your site like Google Analytics, and you can see that what is the kind of demographics that are coming to your site. What are the time frame that people are spending in my site, and based on that you can rework on your strategy. Okay, so this is not going to work out, let's change my strategy, let's change my goal. So that should be the approach in creating a social business, instead of going bottom up, that I create a Facebook page and then I see what is the efficiency. The question was how Facebook will help us for small IT companies for increasing the traffic. Okay, that's a very specific question. So suppose an IT company needs to find out first that am I going to increase, or am I going to look out for leads, or am I going to look out for prospects from social media, or the social media goal is to spread out my brand value. So if the answer is okay, I want to spread my brand value, you need to define a strategy that way, and you need to prepare your content strategy that way. But if you decide that okay, I want to define that my goal is increase my sales efficiency by this many percentage in next 6 months, or I want to get more leads out of online business, so then your strategy becomes different. And based on that, your content, your analytics, your SEO, all these things needs to be worked together. So the next slide will be more on the skills which I believe will help the developers or the budding social engineers in the future. It has two areas. I mean, if you look at it, so one is, as I said, it's a complex mix of art and science. I will be dealing more on the science part because of my background and all. I am not the best guy on, say, how to draw a picture, but I probably can tell you that the concepts that is on the left side, that okay, these concepts you need to be aware of at least when you want to become a social engineer. First thing is graph theory. Graph theory is a basic concept. I mean, if you have studied computer science, you must have studied that. If you have not studied computer science, don't worry. Just go to Wiki, search graph theory, and you will understand that in 10 minutes, I believe. So, graph theory is the crux of the social media. Just get a good feeling of that. It will help you in the long run. Second is analytics. Analytics is a big area. Like analytics, it started with analytics on the back end where people used to do business intelligence, people used to do analytics on the business data. Now it has gone to the web analytics side. So how web analytics is going to help you? For example, as I said, suppose you have a website and you want to measure how many people have visited my site on last 7 days and how much time were they spending on my site, and what are the pages that were visited most, and what are the pages where people dropped off. So that will give you an idea, okay, whether my pages are interesting or people are losing interest out of my page in 10 seconds. So based on that, I can redesign my website every day, every week. You are getting real life feedback that okay, I have a website, and how people are accessing it, how is it going to be perceived in the market, and I can start tweaking the website. That is how analytics is going to help you. Big data is a concept in itself. Like big data, I mean, it's a huge concept. Like how big data is going to help is because I'll give you just a brief of big data. Earlier, if you have worked in any database like SQL or any other, in Oracle or any other database, you know that data is structured. Like you have a table, you have certain columns where you define that, okay, this table can have 10 columns and this column has this data type, like column 1 will be character, column 2 will be varchar 2, column 3 will be something else. But in social media, you are getting data from Facebook, you are getting data from Twitter, you are getting data from everywhere. You are getting data as image, video, feeds, sensor data. So all this data, people call it unstructured data. I mean, you can't put a structure on that. You can't put a table structure on, say, a tweet from Twitter. You can forcefully put that, but that may not work out. So once you have that huge unstructured data and you want to get some information out of that, so it's data and information, I mean, you need to get some valuable inputs out of that, then you need to apply big data. So probably we'll cover big data sometime in future in detail, and we'll leave that for today here. Next 2 points are content and graphics. So if you look at any successful Facebook page, suppose Cadbury's or Dell or Intel, you'll see very beautiful pictures. I mean, if you look at any food blogs, you will see all the bright, great pictures. That is very important because you need to attract the attention of the customer at the first go. So that is also going to be important in the coming days. Now, if we look at the right side, that is on the tool side, there are different tools that are available in the market. These tools are going to help you more into the analysis and more into the corporate scenario. For example, social media for internal corporate conversations. So we talked about Facebook a lot, we talked about Twitter, we talked about G+, we talked about LinkedIn. But for an organization, it's also important that you have people talking to each other. There are many organizations and big organizations where there are departments that work as silos and they don't talk to each other. So probably sales doesn't know what the delivery guy is working in an IT company, I would say, or in a finance company, the marketing doesn't know what credit team is working on. So for that, there should be a platform where people can talk to each other. It's beyond mail. I mean, now people are saying that mail is fast. I mean, mail has lost its glory. So mail is too cumbersome. So there are many tools for that available in market, and I will not propose or support any tools here. It's not the presentation meant for that. But there are tools, and you should look at that for your organization. Then there is social listening. So suppose, as we talked about, that there is a product launched by your company, and you want to listen to from the social media that how people are accepting that. That is also related to sentiment analysis. So are people positive about it or they are negative about it? Did they say bad about it or are they very excited about it? Okay, something is coming. So there is a very good case study if you follow MTV. So MTV has Coke Studio that was launched recently. And even before launch, they had 2 million viewers or 2 million likes in the Facebook without any single show. That was like a huge success from a social media perspective. Then the other tools are web analytics and social CRM. So there are CRM tools which are available specifically for the social media, where you can look at the data and you can try to analyze that. Web analytics, I think we touched to some extent. Now, before going to the bookmarks, let us take a few more questions. We have got few questions. One question says that, don't you think Twitter has very less reach to the people as in for startup companies? What is the best way for a startup company to make more people follow us? So I would say there are 2 questions. First question is, don't you think Twitter has very less reach to the people as in for startup companies? Now, every social media has its own pattern, has its own behavior. if you have an account both in Facebook and G+, you will see that the kind of conversation that happens in Facebook and the kind of conversation that happens in G+ are completely different. Because the people, when they get into G+, they come with a certain different perception. And when they come into Facebook, there is more of like, it's continuing from the chat that I had just on the roadside, and I am continuing there on my Facebook. Similarly, Twitter has its own flavor, I would say. It has a different style of communication. So for a startup company, yes, Twitter can still be very useful. But for that, you need to understand the graph. How are you connected to the right people? Your message needs to reach out to the right people who can, you can make the message so exciting that if one Barack Obama retweets one of your message, then you are hugely successful. So the key is who is retweeting your message and how connected he is. So as I said that someday in future we'll talk about this graph in detail. So every people has its own weight in social network. So you have to get your message retweeted by an influencer, a more powerful person. But we can discuss more detail offline also. Feel free to ping me. Second is, what is the best way for a startup company to make more people follow us? There is no shortcut. Sorry to say, there is no shortcut, but the basic funda is, whoever is your target audience, you have to make value for them. Don't expect something that somebody will come up and say, okay, I have an opportunity, please service me. That is not going to work out. There is a theory that giving is the best way of taking. So you have to continue giving your value to your possible potential customers. Then only they can someday find out, okay, this guy is very relevant to this area, and I saw him in Facebook or in Twitter, so let's ping him. They can help me. Next question is, can you tell how Facebook can help for e-commerce? So digital and social are very connected nowadays. You can't differentiate between digital and social media separately. So when you say e-commerce, e-commerce is the digital way of doing business, and social media is an enabler. Social media is just another channel for your business. Suppose when you say e-commerce, e-commerce means you have a business where you are selling through your digital portals. That is one channel of selling. But there can be other channels. So social media is just another channel. Now there are people who are selling directly from social media, or there are people who connect between this digital and social and try to make the traffic connected and not lose out anything. So suppose somebody is visiting Facebook, he should be also directed to the web page where he can buy something. So those are certain strategies that you need to work out. That's that we can talk offline as well. Now coming back to the slide, I have listed certain bookmarks. See, nowadays somebody asked me that, what is your source of knowledge these days? So I said, okay, I hardly get time to read books these days, and my source of knowledge has become the social media. It's Facebook, it's Twitter, and it's G+. So I've listed some pages which might be helpful to you, which I personally follow. You can also get some value out of them. So it's not restrictive. Like the last one, Coursera. Coursera is an online training platform where you can get a lot of course materials and you can get degrees from US universities as well. So Coursera is certainly one of the best massively open online courses which is offered, but there are some other also. Then there is David Amerland, who is a great guy on SEO. So he has his own stream. You can look at that. Digital CRM is one of the digital companies who has their own site, so I often. There are various communities in Google Plus who pertain to specific areas. Suppose you are interested only on SEO, then you can subscribe to those communities then you can get a lot of funders on that. Or suppose you are interested in biology, then you can go and connect to those communities and you can contribute. So there is a great opportunity to contribute and learn from a lot of people beyond the physical boundary. You don't need to restrict yourself within your country, within your area. You can go outside your country. You can use these platforms to learn more, to contribute more. There is a question that I am launching an e-commerce with electronic cigarette and not printing. Is it good to have products which not interconnected to each other? I didn't get that question clearly. I would assume that you are launching multiple products and you are trying to find out how you want to position them. So that's a different topic, and probably we can discuss offline, because product strategy and product positioning is something different, and there are different theories on that. That how do you want to position two different competing products which is coming from the same stable? Are they going to cannibalize each other, or that's a different topic, so we'll probably skip that. Now, if you have questions, please feel free to come along and share the questions. On the presentation side, I am more or less covered. I have covered most of the content, but if you have questions which you come up with later after this presentation, you can connect me at Facebook or my Gmail or Twitter or blog. I run a blog for last a couple of years. You can go visit there. There are some contents which might be likable for you. And also, I am pretty regular on my Gmail, so you can drop me a questions. We can connect offline as well. Facebook is also another place where I almost regularly put some posts. So I am one of the active users. So feel free to connect, and if you have any questions, please share those questions. I will be happy to answer that.
Well, thank you so much for the presentation, Subhamay. We have a few questions. I hope you can see them.
Yes, I have answered those questions. I think, okay, there are a few more coming up. Okay, good. So there is a question, how to get more knowledge on big data concept. That's a huge area. So big data is a concept in itself, and there are tools related to that. So first you need to understand what is big data. I mean, how big is big data? So there is no quantification that, okay, 1 TB is big, or 4 TB is big, or 200 TB is big. Big data is a concept itself where you talk about structured and unstructured data. As I said that earlier, in a relational database model, you used to have tables, you used to have constraints on tables, you used to have foreign key, primary key relationships, all these things. But in big data, mostly you don't have those. But how do you get value out of that? So there are tools like R, tools like things. There are concepts like MapReduce. So to answer your question directly, that how to get more knowledge on big data, I depend on the social media, and I depend on these MOOCs like Coursera and other things. So that's a very good forum, because see, big data, there won't be any books available in the market which will be covering almost all the latest. There is something happening almost every day. There is some improvement on some tool or the other happening every day. So if you want to be on top of the things, you have to be online, you have to follow those materials. I would prefer that if you go to Coursera, Coursera had a course sometime back from one of the universities, top leading universities on big data. You can go and check whether they are still holding the material. Next question is, what are the languages needed to work with big data? So I think big data is something is of very high interest to you. So possibly we'll try to see whether we can have something in future on big data. Big data has a basic concept called MapReduce. Then there are languages called R. So you can do a little bit of Google and try to find out what is MapReduce all about. So these are all very basic computer science concepts, and I mean, after some experience, you will understand that the basic concept of computer science remains same. Only the wrappers changes. So possibly you have heard all these concepts like MapReduce and all in different area, and you apply that differently. So just go through that. Next question is, if I will create one social website, what are the things I need to include to reach our website? If I create, okay, let me try to understand. If I create one social website, what are the things I need to include to reach our website? So social and digital, as I said, they are getting increasingly connected to each other. I mean, there is a very thin line between digital and social. So it should be an integrated experience. Someone who is getting into your website should be immediately be able to follow you in Facebook or immediately follow in Twitter. And there is a very basic mistake that people do, that okay, whatever I am publishing in Facebook, I will copy paste that in G+, I will copy paste that in Twitter. Is that a good strategy or is that a bad strategy? That is something that people are still debating. But you can see, I mean, as an end user, if you want to follow a company, say, let's take an example, say Intel, and you go to their Facebook page, you see some message, and you go to their Twitter, you see the same message. You go to G+, you see the same message. Are you happy or are you not happy? So you come to the other side of the table and you try to see as an end user whether you are happy with the content. If you are not, then you are not, it is not working out. But you can also measure that. As I said, there are analytics, measure all these things. What should be the focus of my FM strategy? My startup or my product? Great question. So this is something that needs to come from the top. So if you are the owner of the startup, if you are the board of the startup, you need to decide whether you want to build the brand first or the product first. So suppose you have a software product company. So do you want to build the name first or do you want to sell the product first? What is going to impact the customer first? I mean, can the customer relate to a brand XYZ on a fine morning? Okay, this is a great brand. Or can the customer relate to the product because that is relevant to his everyday life? Sorry. So think on that side and try to figure out the strategy. That okay, for me, brand is more important because through brand I will launch multiple products. Or I have a fantastic product which is going to catch the eyes of so many users that it will build the brand itself of the company. Next is, how do I grow my fan base on my social media account? That's a fantastic question actually. So there are, don't look at increasing only numbers. That is the basic message I want to share here today. Don't look at numbers only. Look at the quality of the numbers. Suppose you create a page or you ask an agency that, okay, get me a page for my company and help me get 1 million users who should be liking my company, liking my page, I would say. So the agency works on it. Somehow or the other, they get 1 million users liking your page. Is this 1 million user going to help your product? Is this going to help your sales? Is it going to help your corporate strategy? What is the percentage of this 1 million is your target customer? So suppose you are selling perfume, high-end perfume which is imported from France, and you have a Facebook profile consisting of all the people who are in college. So can they afford a French perfume costing thousands of rupees who are just in college? So that means even if you have 1 million followers in your fan base, You have made a goof of. You have targeted the wrong base. So look at the quality of fan base, I would say. Next is, can graph theory be helpful in lead generation? If yes, please explain with some example. Yes, it can. So graph theory is a chapter itself. So first and foremost, you need to understand where you are positioned in the entire graph. So I mean, if you have seen the movie Matrix, so it's all in the matrix, just like that, it's all in the graph. You have to find out where you sit in the graph and how are you connected to the right people in the graph. So if you publish a message, is it going to the right set of people, or you want to include some more people who will help you? So based on that, that may help you in lead generation in a great extent. Yes, graph theory can be helpful to give you an answer. Examples, let's talk offline also, because that will be a long. I mean, we can take your particular example and talk on that. We almost, next question, we almost completed our mobile. Okay, there is a very specific question that somebody has said that he has developed a mobile app and he wants to market that using Facebook page, and what content should we put on Facebook page? Okay, that's a strategic question. So that should come from your super boss and some consultants who can help you understand that how do you position your product. So that will not come from this session itself. That's a strategy discussion that needs to be done offline. Second is how to become a best analyzer. I believe you wanted to ask that how you want to be a great analyzer or good in analytics. So analytics has two different aspects. One is learning the tool. Suppose you are given a tool and using that tool, say earlier it used to be SAS and all these things. Now you have web analytics like Google Analytics and all. So you can learn to use those tools. You can learn to apply certain analytics on certain data. That is one part of it. Second part of it is whether you have a bent of mind looking at numbers. If you love numbers, get into analytics. If you hate numbers, if you are not so comfortable with numbers, probably try to avoid that, because analytics is all about numbers. So you have to, I mean, probably you will be given 70,000 rows of Excel and then make a sense out of it, that how is it going to help. So it comes on two sides. As I said, you need to learn the tool, and also you need to have that bent of mind. Okay, I will look at the data and I will try to figure out the value out of it. If you are asking about specific courses, so yes, there are certain courses available in market. You just do a Google on business analytics. You will see IIMs and major business schools offer certificate courses on analytics. You can look at that possibly as an option. So I think we are almost close to 1 hour. Moderator, how do we take it forward?
Well, we still have some questions. We can surely take them if you have time.
Sure. So you can push those questions. I can spend 10 more minutes and answer some of them if possible.
Sure. I have just assigned you some of the questions. That would be great if you answer them.
Okay. Okay. So next is, should I stick with social media if I am not getting results? Yeah, I mean, that is a question that any business owner or any person who has invested on social media should ask every now and then. So how frequently you should ask is up to you. So probably I can ask every month and see that, okay, I invested X dollars. Am I getting results out of it? Now, to answer to your question, should I stick? There is no yes or no. There should be plan A and plan B. So suppose I work out with a plan that, okay, this is my social strategy. I go by that plan. I work with a consultant. I come up with a fantastic plan. And then after 2 weeks, or 2 weeks is very short. People generally go for 6 months. After 6 months, people see that there is no yield out of that. There is the KPIs are not getting met. So then the consultant should give you strategy B, plan B. I mean, you should be ready with plan A and plan B and probably plan C up to plan Z if you are very serious about getting business out of social media. The challenge is most of the time people only go with plan A and then it fails. I mean, as you know, most of the plans have plans to fail. So once plan A fails, there is no alternate option and people pack up and say, okay, social media is all crap, so it's not going to help me, so let me move out of social media. But mind it, there are 1.1 billion users on Facebook and that is increasing every day. So if you don't want to be present on social media, you are purposefully deciding that, okay, I'm going to ignore the #1 activity on web for 1.1 billion users. If that is what you want to decide, that is great. Next question is, what is the future of portal framework? Portal framework is something that is going to stay. I mean, that is very short and sweet answer. Portal is going to stay and portal is going to improve. So there are various frameworks available in the market and that is going to increase because portal has to integrate with social. Already there are portals who have integration with social and that will continue increasing. Next is, Twitter and Facebook are collecting the unstructured data. Are they keeping the data for a long time or not? Okay, so that's a very loaded question. Actually, that's a question that should be answered by people in the secret services or people in the in NSA, because there are a lot of talks going on around how people are looking at your digital data. So Facebook doesn't disclose, or Twitter won't disclose how long they are going to keep the data within their servers. I am aware of Google, who has a certain strategy that after a predefined time of inactivity, they will delete the data from their server. But I am not sure about Facebook, so I can't comment on behalf of Facebook whether they keep or delete that. Next question is, how to create a business plan for small business and the startup ideas. I think that's a different question. So it's about creating a business plan, and business plan is something that is a long topic. We will skip that question. So this is not specifically related to social media. If you have any specific question related to social media, feel free to ping me even on my social accounts. I will be happy to answer. Next question is, what will be the ruling communication in next generation, as like Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn? I wish I had the answer. If I had the answer, then I would have told Zuckerberg or somebody else that, okay, your business is going to work out, so please invest. That is something that even nobody knows. So if you look at the history, there has been many social media frameworks like Orkut. Orkut was hugely popular, especially in India and Brazil, but it suddenly fell off. So nobody knew probably 6-7 years back that Orkut is not going to be there in this next 5 to 6 years. So that's a difficult question. Second is, if I start an online class, how Facebook helps me? So Facebook and G+ can help you if you look at the specific communities. So G+, if you look at, I mean, I am more conversant on the G+ community. So you search for the communities in G+, you will find out that you can find almost any topic under the sun as a community, and you can go there and contribute. Next question is, how to sell through Facebook account. So there are different strategies for that, whether you want to directly sell or whether you want to link it through your digital platform. So it depends on your strategy. Again, I mean, this is something more specific on your business strategy, that can be discussed offline. Can you push the other questions, if there are any?
Those are the only questions we have. Thank you so much for answering them. I'm really thankful to you for conducting this insightful webinar. It was a great session.
Thank you very much. Thanks to all of you who have attended. Feel free to connect to my other handles on social media. Thanks very much.
I would also like to thank all our participants for the support in making this webinar a success. The recording of this session would be available on techgeek.com by tomorrow. Thank you all. Have a great day.